Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today, and welcome to the F1 2019 mod, and we're here at the Circuit de Cataluyna for a pre-season race here. That'll be pretty fitting, as we're obviously having real-life pre-season testing at the Circuit de Cataluyna in Barcelona, that we come here to the circuit and do a kind of pre-season testing race with a brilliant F1 2019 mod made by Krisdix. There'll be some credits in the description, because I've done a few little tweaks and actually downloaded a few other mods on top of that to add on to it and kind of, you know, bodge job it a little bit, because it's still a work in progress, but he's done an absolutely stunning job on the base mod. There's so many different changes. The driver changes, the car changes, and even UI and, you know, the drivers' faces have changed accordingly there. So it's going to be really, really awesome to test it out here for the very first time here at Barcelona and do our own pre-season testing, essentially. Obviously, there's still going to be, like I said, some tweaks to be made and work in progress, but this is going to be a little taster for you guys of what's to come, obviously, as we do our annual mod career mode. When the brand new season starts IRL, I like to do a mod career to kind of go alongside it. So a bit of testing and a teaser of what's to come, essentially. So today we're here at Barcelona driving a Sebastian Vettel in his lovely new Scuderia Ferrari Mission Winnow SF90, to use the full official name of the entry list. I'm not lying, that really is the full official entry list of Ferrari this year. They've got Mission Winnow in their actual official name. But yeah, we're going to be starting from the back of the grid and doing a bit of a last question mark challenge here ahead of the real life season, then seeing how we're going to do against the entire grid. Like I said, all the driver changes and as much as we can, the livery changes of all the cars. A few of them are still work in progress there, but they're getting there. You know, you'll see the likes of the Alfa Romeo car have the Valentine's Day shakedown livery rather than the actual livery they've got for the new season, and then a few of the other cars still have some work in progress liveries there. But it's as close as we're getting, and like I said, it's a testing phase right now. We've still got like a good few weeks before the season begins, and my career mode will begin for a 2019 mod season here. But if you guys go on to enjoy the video and enjoy the look of the mod, then be sure to smash the like button and let me know what you think of it in the comments below. But let's get into it then. That is the full grid, and you can see there we are on the back of it with Sebastian Vettel alongside George Russell in the Williams car. Robert Kubica right ahead of us then, and we're going to get into this. So it's going to be a 25% race here at Cataluyna, short and sweet, so it's just a bit of a taster and a test, like I said. So a one-stop race, super soft to the soft tyres, and obviously there will be a bit of tyre wear still on those super softs. Going to watch out for that, and as also we're going to be pushing quite hard to actually get through the traffic in the midfield in the first stage there, so don't want to wear out the tyres too much. You're going to have to be careful, and actually might try and undercut, because it is quite powerful here around the Circuit de Cataluyna. But lowering down the fuel a little bit and then getting into it then as we go to 5 red lights for this pre-season testing race. My team at Leclerc on the front row alongside Hamilton. Fire lights are out and we're underway, and it's an okay getaway there. Lot of wheel spin actually in second and third gear, but eventually climb the gears and we'll be alongside Russell as we go towards turn 1. Can we make anything work? Maybe on Kubica, as it's all kind of single file and side by side into turn 1 with Giovinazzi round the outside of Alexander Albon as we're going around the outside of Robert Kubica. We can try and find the room. Yes, we'll just about shuffle in there to the inside of turn 3 and get that. Meanwhile, Giovinazzi still on the left-hand side of Albon there. Can he make it work? And can we get kind of stuck in there as we go very cautiously on the left to the right, then to the inside of the Italian man in the Italian car now, Alfa Romeo Racing, as it's rebranded. And at the moment in the testing phase, we've got it in its very lovely Valentine's Day shakedown livery, like I mentioned. We overtook Albon as well, and can we get his teammate, the Torpedo, Danica Kvyat, who returns to the grid this year in F1. Can't quite make it around the outside there. Obviously, Vettel and Kvyat have a fair bit of history, and that's where the Torpedo name and nickname came from, obviously, with Vettel referring to Kvyat as a torpedo from the Chinese Grand Prix. But here we go now, do the fake to the right, down the inside then, and it's a big lunge, and we almost hit the side of our former teammate Kimi Räikkönen now in the other Alfa Romeo Racing car. But we're up into P16, so a pretty decent first lap, I would say. Takes us still the kind of halfway stage of lap 2 to really start badgering Räikkönen, so he's done a good job so far in his brand new surroundings there in the Alfa Romeo car. But down the inside we go then of the high speed chicane up the hill, doesn't quite make it actually, and up the hill we have to stick behind again, but obviously the Ferrari downforce should kick in. There we go, mid-apex there, finding the grip there, right in the slipstream, pull out to the right. No DRS yet, remember, though, on lap 2, but around the outside, a pure braking there, and go round the outside to make that move. Finally finish and stick after half a lap there. Quite frustrating, but you never know. We might see that in real life. It could be quite interesting to see if Räikkönen and Vettel ever do battle on track, and if Räikkönen's going to give Vettel any kind of, extra room or lack of extra room, being former teammates from Ferrari, obviously, as we'll have to kind of see and wait when the season begins. But now we're right behind Lance Stroll on lap number 3. DRS is activated this lap then, so as he got up the hill, we will have that activation. You can see on the bottom right, so the Canadian now in the newly branded Sport Payzer Racing Point team. Round the outside we go with DRS. He's actually locked up and made a bad mistake there, and so Lance actually forces us wide, and so we really are finding the midfield a little bit of a tricky situation to be in. A lot of mobile chicanes really and obstacles in my way, and that should have been an overtake done and dusted, but Stroll with the lock up there unfortunately just gets in the way. So here gonna have to stick tight into the line of the last chicane off the last corner, trying to get the power down as early as we can, a place where Vettel span it on day one of testing here, but we're not going to spin it this time. We're going to find the DRS, find the speed, and now on the right hand side pull out there, we'll have the overspeed to overtake him in a straight line, and we're up into P13. We'll try and close up to his teammate now, Sergio Perez, on the next lap or two, hopefully lap 4, and we're about halfway up the grid, so okay progress. Meanwhile, my teammate Charles Leclerc, the other Ferrari, is in first place actually, from second place on the front row. He's overtaken Hamilton at the very start here and leads the Grand Prix there, so interesting signs. Will that be an omen and a bit of wizardry prediction for later on this season? We'll have to see, but for now Hamilton in second place, then Bottas in third in the new looking Mercedes cars. Then you got the Red Bull Hondas of Gasly and Verstappen, then the two Renaults of Hülkenberg and Ricciardo, followed by the two McLarens of Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, and then also the very Noah's Ark like 2x2 with the Rich Energy Haas cars just ahead of Sergio Perez. We're going to catch up to the Mexican and actually make a bit of a dive to the inside there. Very opportunistic move as we catch him napping a little bit. We go for the switchback move and dance around him a little bit, dance around down the inside it was at the end of the last chicane. We're up into P12 now, although he might have the speed to come back. As we look behind, there he comes with DRS open. We don't have DRS, so actually in hindsight maybe should have stuck behind him on purpose to get the DRS on this main straight, but he locks up, and so both Racing Point cars are struggling with their brakes right now at the moment, both of them locking up near me. And so we get the job done eventually into turn 1, and we can try and catch up to now Kevin Magnussen, the unchanged lineup here at Haas F1, now sponsored by Rich Energy in the black and gold. Down the inside we go of the young Dane, and it's going to be a very nice move. Squeeze him out on the exit just about, and now we can try and get in the back of Romain Grosjean, who's also trying to hound the two McLarens there. I think that's, I think that's Sainz just up ahead. I think Norris at the moment has got the better measure of the more senior Spaniard in that team as we go through the last chicane. Yet that Carlos Sainz, and he's going to come in for an early pit stop now. This is actually, as he's the only man in the top flight right now making that pit stop, so he's going for a mega undercut, it would seem, as we now get DRS open, and the Ferrari engine in the back of our car working very, very well indeed, and we're really gaining there. The Ferrari very good in straight line, it would seem. Down the inside we go of Grosjean there, just about managed to keep the thing on the track, and we're up into what will be P9 then. So making some good progress here, and hopefully with the pit stop phase we can try and get up close to the Renault guys, and then we can try and get on to using that clean air, try and close out to the usual top suspects of the Red Bulls and Mercs and my teammate of Leclerc. But here we go now down the inside of Lando Norris in the McLaren there, the more blued papaya orange McLaren this year. I really like the livery this year actually, the more blue suits it. As now we cut on to look at Charles Leclerc still leading the Grand Prix in the Ferrari. He continues on. Hamilton comes in early then for an undercut, as does one of the Red Bull Honda cars. So Bottas continues on, as well as one of the Renaults, and the other Renault comes in, so a lot of people splitting their strategies and when they come in. And so we had Sainz with the mega undercut, and so all of us, including myself, are going to try an undercut on the other people who stay out for now. So we're going to come in onto a set of soft tyres, of course, obviously being a 25% race, nice and short and snappy, onto just one more set for the Grand Prix then. Thankfully don't actually get held up too much, because there's quite a lot of cars coming in. You can see down the pit lane there, a lot of action in the pit lane, so actually thankfully didn't get held up too much, and we're right behind the Renault then of, I think that's Hülkenberg, I want to say, I think, or it might be Ricciardo, I can't quite tell from here. I want to say it's Hülkenberg, but there goes Carlos Sainz then down into turn 1. He's actually round the outside. Oh, not quite there, nearly round the outside of his former teammate from Renault from last season, the 2018 season, Hülkenberg there, but Sainz has to stick behind, and actually he's been pushed off so much there and got so much dirty air that we might come through now into turn 4, the end of sector 1, swoop round the outside, go the long way round, and we should have the grip and the downforce for it there. It's going to be a very, very sweet move on the home favourite here, Carlos Sainz, and that's a good move. And now we can just really concentrate on trying to catch up to the Renault here and trying to jump both them and then get into that clean air and chase after the Red Bull Hondas, I think. So as we move on to a brand new lap in the DRS zone of Hülkenberg, and so this should be a pretty swift pass, powering past the Renault works car up into P7, and Ricciardo as well, as Ricciardo comes out behind Romeo then. So Ricciardo went on for a fair bit longer than a lot of other people there, so I don't really know why, because he definitely lost some pace and time there, being overtaken by not only his teammate, but also myself. And this is a replay, actually, of Leclerc being held up by the Red Bull car. That was, you saw there, he had to wait for the Red Bull to come across, and because of that, Leclerc has been jumped in the pit lane by the Mercedes car of Valtteri Bottas, and Hamilton, who pit a lap earlier, gets a stonking undercut, and now it's Hamilton that leads the Grand Prix then, and you've got Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull Honda that comes through in second place. So everything's switched up there. Went from Leclerc leading the two Mercedes cars and then the two Red Bulls in P4 and 5. It's now Hamilton from Gasly, then you've got Bottas, Leclerc and Verstappen, and then myself chasing after them. So very, very odd stuff there. A lot of changing in the pit stop phase, and clearly the tyre wear kicking in. So Hamilton still leads the way, and Gasly actually doing very well on the Red Bull Honda, is sticking with him and keeping him quite honest. And Bottas in third place has gotten away from Leclerc, who's losing some pace at the moment here in this second phase of the Grand Prix. Then you've got Max Verstappen, and then there's a bigger gap to myself. I'm going to try and use this clean air, try and push very hard and try and get on. Obviously all this traffic of these midfield cars definitely did hold me up. After me though, you've got the two Renaults of Ricciardo Hulkenberg, then the McLaren of Sainz, then one of the Haas cars, followed by a Racing Point car, then another Haas McLaren, I've kind of lost count, another McLaren of Lando Norris that was, and then the other Racing Point car of Lance Stroll. Then you've got Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo here, and then a little bit further back is, I think that's George Russell, that actually does a brilliant job in the Williams car to lead the two Toro Rossos. Then Giovinazzi in last place with, I think, actually no, sorry, my bad, George Russell actually retired from this Grand Prix. That's actually Kubica doing a great job ahead of the two Toro Rossos. Actually, remembered earlier, there was a message to say Russell retired from the Grand Prix. But now you can see as we get through to the last phase of the Grand Prix, then lap 14 on to lap 15, we're now closing up to Verstappen in the Red Bull Honda car. DRS open here. Ferrari v Honda power in the new Red Bull car here. Verstappen's going to be defenseless though, with DRS making the difference to the for the inside for us. And we're up into P5 now. Leclerc is still in P4 behind the two Mercedes and the Red Bull. And it looks like the Red Bull actually has been overtaken by the Mercedes car. I can see on the minimap there. I think Gasly's down to P3 and Bottas is in P2 now for a 1-2 with Mercedes. And actually by the last lap of the Grand Prix, the tyre wear kicked in so much for Bottas, Gasly and Leclerc that they've both all kind of been dropped by Hamilton. Hamilton's really flexed his muscles, you can see on the minimap there. He's really waltzed away in P1. And Leclerc, Gasly and Bottas have all really closed up in P2 to P4. So we're oh so close. You know, give me maybe 2 more laps in this Grand Prix and I could have probably overtaken Leclerc and probably had a good fight and gotten Gasly as well, because the Ferrari car has been very decent against that Red Bull, at least with Verstappen before. Might have been debatable about Bottas. We might need 3-4 laps to try and catch Bottas, but I'm quite happy we got so close to them in the end. But in the end, it will be from last to 5th place on the grid for this pre-season testing race for the 2019 mods.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
So that's been the pre-season testing race for the 2019 mod, guys. If you did enjoy, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know your thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, to get subscribed for more weekly Formula 1 content. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Till next time, goodbye.